You don't need a backyard to grow plants that heal. A windowsill, a balcony rail, even a sunny corner of a kitchen table. That is enough space to grow a living pharmacy. Some of the most useful healing herbs in the world take up barely more room than a coffee mug, and most of them ask for nothing more than a pot, a bit of light, and a little attention each week. Today we are looking at 6 of them. Plants you can grow in the smallest apartment, no garden required, each one carrying generations of traditional use for the body and the mind. None of these are exotic or hard to find. They are the same herbs healers and grandmothers alike have kept within reach for hundreds of years, long before anyone had a garden at all, just a windowsill and a bit of patience. By the end, you will know exactly which one to start with. Let's start with peppermint. Its leaves carry menthol, the compound responsible for that instant cooling sensation on the tongue and skin, and the reason peppermint has shown up in remedies across cultures for centuries. Traditionally, it has been used to calm an upset stomach, easing the muscles along the digestive tract so gas and discomfort can pass more freely, which is why a cup of peppermint tea after a heavy meal has stayed a habit in so many households. Steep a handful of fresh or dried leaves in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes, and the tea is ready. Some people also rub a diluted drop of peppermint oil on the temples when a tension headache sets in, though the oil should never touch the skin undiluted, since it can irritate sensitive areas. If you deal with acid reflux, it is worth going easy on peppermint, since it can relax the valve that keeps stomach acid where it belongs. Growing it indoors is almost too easy. Peppermint tolerates partial light, needs about 4 hours of sun a day, and prefers soil that stays lightly moist but never waterlogged. Keep it in its own pot with drainage holes because mint spreads aggressively through underground runners and will crowd out anything planted beside it. Pinch the growing tips often, and the plant will thicken into a full, bushy shape instead of growing tall and thin. Once it reaches about 15 centimeters, you can start harvesting leaves anytime you need them, and the more you cut, the more it grows back. Ancient Greek and Roman households valued peppermint enough to weave it into ceremony and cooking alike, and that same plant, largely unchanged, is what sits in pots on windowsills today. Next is Aloe Vera, a plant that barely asks anything of you. Break open one of its thick, water-filled leaves, and inside is a clear gel long used on minor burns, scrapes, and sunburned skin. Compounds within that gel have been studied for their soothing, skin-supporting properties, which is part of why aloe has stayed a windowsill staple for generations, passed from one household to the next, as the plant that is simply there when you need it. To use it, snap off a lower, outer leaf, split it lengthwise, and apply the gel directly to the affected skin. Any extra gel can be kept in the refrigerator for a few days, though fresh is always best. One thing worth knowing, the yellow-tinted layer just beneath the skin of the leaf, called the latex, is different from the clear inner gel and is not meant to be consumed, so keep it to topical use unless you are working with a properly prepared product. Aloe wants bright, direct light, ideally a south-facing window and very little water. Let the soil dry out completely between waterings, roughly every 2 to 3 weeks depending on your climate. Plant it in a fast-draining cactus or succulent mix, never regular potting soil, because more aloe plants die from overwatering and soggy roots than from any kind of neglect. Egyptian healers were recording its uses on papyrus thousands of years ago, and the plant has barely needed an introduction since. Then there is lemon balm, a member of the mint family with a bright, citrusy scent that fills a room the moment you brush against its leaves. For centuries, it has been used to ease restlessness and settle a busy mind before sleep, thanks to compounds traditionally associated with a calming effect on the nervous system. A tea made from fresh or dried leaves, steeped for 8 to 10 minutes, is the simplest way to use it, often taken in the evening as the day winds down and the body starts looking for rest. Unlike peppermint, lemon balm tolerates a little shade, so it is a good choice if your brightest window is already taken by something else. Water it once the top inch of soil feels dry to the touch, and trim it regularly. This keeps the plant compact and encourages the strongest flavor, which fades once it flowers, and starts putting its energy into seed instead of leaf. If you take thyroid medication, mention lemon balm to your doctor before making it a daily habit, since it has traditionally been associated with effects on thyroid activity. Medieval monks kept it close to their beehives and their kitchens both, convinced it steadied the mood of anyone who drank it, and the plant has kept that reputation ever since. If you want to keep learning which plants can support your health, subscribe. There is a new one every week. Now to German chamomile, the small white and yellow flowers behind one of the most familiar bedtime teas in the world. Its blooms contain apigenin, a compound studied for its calming, sleep-supporting effect, which is why chamomile tea has been sipped before bed across generations, long before anyone could explain why it worked. Steep the dried flowers for about 5 minutes, or add a handful to a warm bath, and let the same relaxing effect work through the skin instead of the cup. If you are allergic to ragweed or related plants, introduce chamomile carefully, since it belongs to the same family and can trigger a similar reaction in sensitive people. Chamomile needs real sunlight to bloom well, around 4 to 6 hours of direct light on a windowsill, along with soil that drains quickly so the roots never sit wet. From seed, it germinates in 7 to 14 days, and the first flowers usually open around 60 days after planting. Harvest the blooms as soon as they open fully, snipping just below the flower head, and the plant will keep producing new buds through the whole season. It has calmed restless nights across cultures for so long that its name comes from the Greek for ground apple, a nod to the sweet scent that rises when you brush past it. Thyme is next, a plant so small and hardy it barely notices it is confined to a pot. Its leaves contain thymol, a compound traditionally valued for supporting the respiratory system, which is why thyme tea and thyme steam have long been used when a cough or a stuffy chest sets in during the colder months. For tea, steep the leaves for about 10 minutes and add a little honey if the flavor feels too sharp. For steam, drop a few fresh sprigs into a bowl of hot water, drape a towel over your head, and breathe in slowly for a few minutes. Thyme essential oil is strong and should always be diluted before it touches skin. Thyme wants full sun, at least 6 hours a day, and sandy, well-draining soil. It is one of the few herbs on this list that actually prefers to be a little neglected, letting the soil dry out completely between waterings rather than staying moist. Trim it back after it flowers, and it will stay bushy and productive for years in the very same small pot, asking for little more than sunlight and the occasional haircut. Roman soldiers reportedly bathed in water infused with thyme before battle, believing it gave them strength, and healers long after kept using it for exactly the respiratory comfort it is still valued for today. If this garden has caught your curiosity, there's much more growing on this channel. Subscribe, and let's tend it together. Last is lavender, the plant whose scent alone has been used for relaxation since ancient times, tucked into linens and pillows long before anyone wrote down why it seemed to work. Its purple buds carry linalool, a compound studied for its calming effect on the mind, which is why dried lavender has long been placed near the bed to support restful sleep. A few drops of diluted lavender oil on the wrists, or a mild tea from the dried buds steeped for 5 minutes are both traditional ways to use it, and either one fills a small room with its scent almost instantly. As with any essential oil, lavender oil should be diluted in a carrier oil before it touches the skin, and a small patch test is always worth doing first. Lavender is the most demanding of the 6. It needs at least 6 hours of direct sun and soil on the gritty, well-draining side, closer to what you would use for a cactus than a leafy houseplant, with very little water once the plant is established. Choose a compact variety bred for containers, since the tall garden types can outgrow a small pot quickly, and prune it right after it. Finishes blooming to keep its shape tight and its growth full for the next season. Long before modern research studied its calming effect, lavender was already being scattered through linen closets and sick rooms alike, valued simply for the sense of ease it seemed to bring into a room. 6 plants, 6 different ways of supporting the body, and not one of them needs more space than a sunny windowsill or a modest balcony rail. A little light, a pot with good drainage, and a few minutes of attention each week. That is the entire cost of keeping a small, living pharmacy within arm's reach, ready whenever you need it. Start with the one your body needs most right now. Whether that is peppermint for the stomach, lavender for the nights that feel too long, or aloe for the burns and scrapes that come with everyday life, and let the rest follow in their own time. This is only the first seed of what this garden holds. Subscribe and grow with us.